Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small-town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Attention all veterans and guests. The Keokuk County Veterans Affairs Office invites you to join them for a luncheon on Monday, November 11th from 11:30 to 1:30 at the Keokuk County Expo in Sigourney. The Veterans Affairs Office provides assistance to veterans in need. If you have any questions, contact Michelle Herman, the Veterans Affairs Administrator in Keokuk County, at the courthouse in Sigourney, 641-622-2761. The KCED Tailgate $10,000 raffle is this Friday, November 8th at the Carl Craft Civic Center at 701 West 2nd Street in Hedrick. Tickets are $125, which includes 2 admissions. Dinner, drinks, dancing, and more. Doors open at 5:30, dinner at 6, drawing is at 7, entertainment at 8, and it's all over by 11 p.m. Plus, there's bus transportation from Sigourney to Hedrick. It's the KCED Tailgate $10,000 raffle this Friday in Hedrick. Santa!
Ho, ho, ho!
Steve!
I am Steve.
Stocking.
Ooh.
Details are coming soon!
Every drop counts with an irrigation system. Bare fields after harvest offer a good opportunity to inspect center pivots on Successful Farming Radio.
Successful Farming Radio, providing information farmers need in the field, in the shop, and in the office. Committed to growing your business in agriculture.
Check out our full lineup of Successful Farming podcasts. The Successful Farming podcast goes in-depth into the topics that affect farmers and ranchers. The 15 Minutes with a Farmer podcast offers a quick conversation between an editor and a farmer. The SF Shorts podcast offers bite-sized interviews about agricultural topics. And the SF Daily podcast covers commodity markets, weather, and the big things happening in agriculture each morning. Search for Successful Farming wherever you download your podcasts.
Welcome to the soothing sounds of cropland seed. It's the kind of sound you only get with broad access to high-performing genetics and traits, and years of data from extensive testing. Also, retailers can recommend what will work best in your fields. Take some stress out of your season. Talk to your local retail seed expert about cropland seed today.
Before you put your irrigation system to bed for the winter, inspect the center pivots for repairs and evaluate their performance. Steve Melvin is an extension educator at the University of Nebraska. He says the best way to check the pressure is with a pressure gauge. Every center pivot has a means of checking the pressure at the pivot point, but gauges that have been out there for a few years may not be working anymore.
So you would need to install a new pressure gauge on there, or you can get a little Schrader valve, which is a small little device that makes like a valve stem on a tire, and then you can just use a good pressure gauge with a air chuck on it to check the pressure. Also put one of those out towards the end of the pivot when the pivot is on the highest point in the field and check the pressure there as well.
For the regulators to work correctly, the pressure in the pivot mainline needs to be at least 5 psi over the rated pressure of the regulator. If it's too high, the likely cause is plugged nozzles or restrictions in the pipeline. If it's too low, there may be leaks, a broken or missing sprinkler, or a problem with the pump output. Also, check for uniform water coverage from the sprinklers.
Probably the best thing that you can do is in the fall or in the spring, maybe when you've got more bare soil out there, is you can put the pivot to move as fast as it can when it's applying water, and just kind of walk along and see how uniform the watering is as the sprinkler comes along and just starts getting the soil wet.
He says the soil should be uniformly wet along the entire length of the system. I'm Jody Henke. Learn more about inspecting irrigation pivots at agriculture.com.